Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending TeamViewer's Integrate to Innovate webinar series. Our first webinar of this series will feature our Microsoft Intune integration. Before we get started, we wanted to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen are multiple application widgets that you can use. All of the widgets are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around the screen to get the most out of your desktop space. You can expand your slide area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. If you have any questions during the webcast, you can submit them through the Q&A widget at the bottom. We will try to answer these during the webcast, but if a more detailed answer is required or we run out of time, it will be answered later via email. Please know we do capture all questions. A copy of today's slide deck and additional help materials are available in the resource list at the bottom. We encourage you to download any resources or links that you may find useful. For the best viewing experience, we recommend using a wired internet connection and closing any programs or browser sessions running in the background that could cause issues. Webinars are bandwidth intensive, so closing any unnecessary browser tabs will help conserve your bandwidth. The webcast is being streamed through your computer, so there is no dial-in number. For the best audio quality, please make sure your computer speakers or headset are turned on and the volume is up so you can hear the presenters. Some networks cause slides to advance more slowly than others, so logging off of your VPN is recommended. If your slides do fall behind, pushing F5 on your keyboard will refresh the page. You can find additional answers to some common technical issues located in the help widget at the bottom of your screen as well. An on-demand version of the webcast will be available approximately 30 minutes after the webcast and can be accessed using the same audience link that was sent to you previously. Before we get started, we'd like to go ahead and take a quick poll. I'll go ahead and open it up to everyone. The question is, do you currently use a remote desktop solution at your organization? So just take a few seconds, respond to the poll, and we'll get to the results later on in the webcast. Now we'll take a look at the agenda for today's webinar. First, we will take a look at TeamViewer's global footprint. Then we'll briefly show you some of our other integrations that you may find beneficial. After that, we will dive into unified endpoint management, followed by enterprise mobility management using Microsoft Intune. Then we'll take an in-depth look at UEM and remote assistance, followed by a brief Q&A to gather any remaining questions at the end. At the end of our live webcast, we will have a brief survey for you. If you could please fill that out for us, it would be very helpful. With all that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our Technical Business Integrations Manager and your host for the remainder of the webcast, Sebastian Gagola.
Great, thanks, Nick. Hello and welcome, everybody. Very excited to be here. Happy to those who could attend today. My name is Sebastian, as Nick had mentioned, the technical manager here at TeamViewer. And today I'll be presenting how to remotely support your mobile ecosystem with TeamViewer and Intune. The technical overview will cover Intune scenarios with remote use cases, including new features that have been recently released. Before we begin, I would just like to take the opportunity to give a brief overview of TeamViewer's global footprint, technologies, and integrations. TeamViewer was launched in 2005, and we are a German-based company focusing on cloud-based technologies. Being a SaaS-based company, there is no special hardware needed to use the software. We are an international company with global offices located here in the US, Germany, Japan, Australia, and Armenia, with over 700 diverse employees. Helping the TeamViewer software to speak your language, and the software supports more than 30 languages. TeamViewer software is platform agnostic, supporting Windows, Mac operating systems, Linux operating systems, including the Raspberry Pi, Chrome operating system, and a variety of mobile devices such as iOS, Android, Windows, and BlackBerry. Admins can support cross-platform communication, establishing connections between PCs to mobile devices, mobile to mobile devices, and even mobile devices to PCs. The software has been installed on over 1.7 billion devices, with over 40 million devices always connected and online at any given time. Now, in today's webinar, we will be covering just our Intune integration. However, TeamViewer does offer other pre-built integrations, supporting customers' IT service management and ticketing systems, remote monitoring, and other enterprise management solutions, along with CRM systems such as Microsoft Dynamics. More information on these integrations can be found on our integrations landing page and using the link made available to you in the resources section. Just to note, eligible license to enable the integrations do require the use of a premium or corporate license. So just to take an interesting look at some of the poll results, we see that 100% of the users attending the webinar today do have a remote solution in place in their organization. Mainly the reason why we ask this question is because most businesses plan to have a mobile work style strategy in place, or already have one. So based off the poll, this gives us a better understanding how well prepared IT staff are to support their global workforce. Introducing the TeamViewer integration in Intune, key features and workflows include allowing IT admins to seamlessly initiate remote sessions in the Intune dashboard, notifying information workers of the remote requests via the company portal app, supporting multiple Intune managed devices, including Windows 10 PCs, Mac operating systems, and Android iOS mobile devices, mass deploying unattended access to Windows and Android devices, and securing all sessions using RSA public-private key exchange and AES 256-bit encryption. The integration benefits administrators, streamlining remote administration when support cases surface, and the TeamViewer connector is pre-built into the Intune platform, so no separate installation is necessary. Please note the TeamViewer integration does require a separate Intune license and a TeamViewer subscription. So in our first video, let's demonstrate quickly how an admin would enable the TeamViewer integration for themselves or other Intune administrators. Now, as a prerequisite, we need to verify that the user enabling the TeamViewer connector has a proper Intune license attached to their account. Here, I'll go ahead and choose myself, go into the Licenses tab, and make sure that I have the proper Intune license attached to my account. For non-global admins, Intune administrators within the Azure portal must have the following Intune roles. The first being Update Remote Assistance, which allows administrators to modify the TeamViewer connector settings. And the second being Request Remote Assistance, which allows administrators to start a new remote assistance session for any user. Over here, we can view the permissions and make sure that they're enabled. And after the prerequisites have been met, we can now configure the TeamViewer connector by navigating to the Intune dashboard, selecting Devices, and then select the TeamViewer connector. Admins will need to confirm the connector permissions and select Login to TeamViewer to authorize. And once directed, users will need to enter their TeamViewer account credentials, allowing the specified permission access. After a refresh, we can confirm the connection status is now active, and congratulations, the TeamViewer integration is now enabled for Intune. So looking at enterprise mobility management scenarios, Microsoft applies a unique approach to addressing EMM deployment goals and strategies in terms of scenarios. Some common scenarios include protecting on-premises email, offering a BYOD, bring your own device program to employees, issuing corporate-owned devices to employees or limited use tablets to contractors, managing applications for a public kiosk, and overall saving costs consolidating separate pieces of software into a single platform solution. So with information workers spending more time working remotely from home or satellite locations, IT admins will face challenges supporting the mobile workforce. Common support scenarios including, will employees be technical enough to follow emailed troubleshooting steps for their device? What if the issue could not be resolved over the phone? Are BYOD employees willing to ship or travel to the help desk location for device maintenance? So on the next slide, we'll be reviewing how unified endpoint management and remote support benefits users by saving time, cutting travel costs for on-site, in-person service calls and maintenance, eliminating potential shipping damage for computers and laptops sent to facilities, and increasing first call resolution time and boosting customer satisfaction. Applying use cases to the previous mentioned scenarios, remote support acts as an extension to UEM, going hand in hand, complementing the Intune platform's mobile device management system. The use cases we'll be exploring include how IT help desk can remotely assist information workers through the Intune troubleshooting portal, support mobile workers such as freight operators with their inventory apps or devices, help educators manage and configure Windows 10 and iOS devices with live screen sharing, deploy unattended access to monitor and control retail chains' point-of-sale devices, digital displays or signage, and install software on kiosks. Looking at our first use case, we'll demonstrate how remote support can increase uptime in retail environments, limit support tickets, and save costs in travel or training. The Intune troubleshooting portal can be used by Intune administrators to view information about a specific Intune user and their assigned devices, troubleshoot problems such as licensing, enrollment, and compliance issues, even app installation failures. Help desk operators can perform remote tasks such as managing mobile apps, file transferring system logs, viewing system information to obtain serial numbers, and even monitor hardware performance, including CPU utilization, RAM usage, and device storage information. Also, school administrators can manage their Windows 10 and iOS devices for students in Intune for Education. So let's watch the next video demonstrating how to use the Intune troubleshooting portal and remotely support users. In the Azure portal, select Intune, and in the Help and Support section, choose Troubleshoot. The IT Help Desk will select the user who has opened a support case. And once IT selects the problematic device, they can view the full dashboard listing the device status and initiate the remote assistance request to the user's Windows 10 device. When the remote assistance session has been generated, a supporter link will appear, bringing the admin into the waiting portal until the end user accepts the request. On the remote side, through the company portal app, a flag notification prompts the information worker to accept the request and confirm to allow remote control. When a remote connection is made, end users will have visibility who has connected to their device and kill the connection at any time through the panel box in the bottom right-hand corner. Once the remote request has been accepted, the IT help desk will have full remote control, perform any necessary troubleshooting steps such as gathering more information, eliminating variables, reproducing issues, generating system logs, anything to really lock down what the issue is and provide the remote support. Now, with TeamViewer, we're not limited to only remote view or control. Several other TeamViewer features include remote printing, wake on LAN, whiteboard, secure file sharing, and supporting multiple sessions to different devices at one time. Now, to transfer the logs, IT just needs to navigate to the top nav bar, choose Files and Extras, and select the files to transfer to their device. Here we have the file transfer dialog box, which appears. We just need to choose the file from the remote device and where to store it on the local device. Now, in a similar workflow, if an information worker has multiple issues with their devices, such as an Android device, the admin can just as easily initiate a remote request. On the information worker's mobile device, they will also receive the flag notification via the company portal app, prompting confirmation to allow remote control. And after a connection has been established, the admin can take full control and is able to view in real time hardware performance, system information, transfer files, manage mobile apps, push Wi-Fi settings, and engage with the user via the chat feature. In our second use case, Intune for Education, Microsoft Education allows educators to control and manage resources for students and collaborate in a virtual classroom. With Intune for Education, I'll demonstrate how to leverage our newest feature, iOS screen sharing in Intune. Although Intune for Education's design includes workflows to manage both iOS and Windows school devices. Benefits of the iOS remote screen sharing includes viewing iPhones and iPad screens in real time to remote desktops or mobile devices, enhancing remote support experiences, and avoiding complex workarounds to iOS users with a standalone app. Educators can receive screenshots, send receive chat via text, view system information, and add configuration profiles to iOS devices running iOS 11 or later. Now, heading over to our video demonstration, we show how educators with Intune for Education can manage mobile devices that students use to access classroom data, configure and assign the apps students will be using in the classroom, and show how teachers access and share classroom information via iOS screen sharing. Within the Intune for Education portal, educators view and distribute apps bought from the Microsoft Store. Once an app has been pushed from the dashboard to a student's device, the student will be able to open the company portal app and choose to install it from the app catalog. Now, in this specific use case, what if there is a failure in deployment, installation, or troubleshooting is needed to configure app settings? Students can allow educators to remotely view their iOS screens by accepting the remote request, similar to the flag notification we saw prior, and allow the remote support. Now, an additional step to allow screen sharing on the iOS devices is to swipe up from the bottom of the device, open the control center, and enable broadcasting for TeamViewer. The administrator now selecting the device will be able to interact with the supporter link, remoting into the iOS device, and view the student's screen in real time. Here the educator has remoted in, the student is showing in real time the issue that they're experiencing, and the educator will guide them through the rest of the setup process. So with Microsoft Education, schools can remotely support affordable devices and set up students within minutes. The end-to-end process for deploying and managing the cloud solution is simplified using TeamViewer's remote support integration. Here we have another remote use case, which is mass deploying to Windows 10 devices. When Microsoft introduced the functionality to deploy MSI apps through the Intune standalone portal, A big pain point for Intune customers to deploy TeamViewer was the requirement of an additional executable to allow account assignment. Now, with our improved single MSI installer, TeamViewer can deploy full versions or host modules to your entire network of Windows 10 devices silently without IT staff needing to leave their desks or requiring any manual actions from end users. When configuring the line of business app for deployment, admins can now have various command line switch parameters for account assignment, easy access to avoid storing passwords, configuring proxy credentials, and even the ability to remove the app's shortcut icon. Now, some important notes to cover before diving into the demonstration are deploying the TeamViewer MSI package does require a TeamViewer corporate subscription, and the TeamViewer full client is needed to view the managed device. If the host is installed on the information worker's device, IT admins can still request remote assistance with attended access, allowing the session to be passed through the company portal app. Also, for more information on the newly supported command lines, please visit the community link located in the resources section. So let's get started and demonstrate how with Intune you can deploy unattended access supporting thousands of devices remotely in just a few minutes. As a prerequisite, we will need to enter the TeamViewer management console with the admin's account, and under the Design and Deploy section, choose to add host. In the configuration screen, we can customize the module to your organization's branding, and when finished, choosing the option to download the MSI package. Next, we will need to create our API token with the proper permissions used for the automated account assignment. Now, once the token is generated, we will save it for a later step. And additionally, the API token displayed after the host creation will work as well. So here we have our API token. We just need to highlight and copy it. Now, in the Intune dashboard, we need to navigate to the mobile app section, choose Add, and for the app type, select Line of Business App. Under the app package file, open the File Explorer and select the previously downloaded MSI file. Configuring the app information details, feel free to define a description for the app, input TeamViewer as the trusted publisher, and most importantly, paste the required command line parameters, including the token we saved from the previous step. Lastly, we make sure to save the changes and add the app. Intune will notify us the app has successfully been created and begin uploading the MSI package. Once the app is available, we head over to the mobile app section, select the TeamViewer 13 host line of business app, manage the assignment as required. This will help to silently force the installation. Select the pre-configured group of devices to deploy to and confirm all changes have been saved. Once the changes have been pushed, everything is saved. Within Intune, we're able to monitor the installation status, confirming the deployment was successful, and cross-reference the device's host name and secure unattended access from the TeamViewer full client. Once the remote connection has been established, admins can remotely administer the device as if they were sitting right there locally. Exploring our last Intune remote use case, let's speak about mass deploying TeamViewer hosts for Android. Now, through Intune's mobile device management system supporting app configuration policies, along with Android for Work. Users can deploy the TeamViewer host app to support Android phones and tablets. Devices include Samsung, Asus, Honeywell, Caterpillar, Lenovo, Sony, and more. Just check the link in the resources box for a full list of supported devices and add-ons. Now, once the Android host is deployed, in addition to remote view and remote control, TeamViewer enables chat support, secure file transfer, viewing system information, and the ability to stop or uninstall problematic apps. Admins can now benefit from the feature with the ability to access unattended devices being used as point-of-sale systems or kiosks. So heading over to the demonstration and learning how to use the MCO to create an Android host package, obtain the configuration link, we'll go through the steps right now. The first step is to enter the MCO, head over to the Design and Deploy section, where we're going to choose Add Android Host. In the configuration screen, we define a name for the module and select a group where the managed device will display. Once we click Save, go back, copy the configuration link for later steps, we enter the Intune dashboard, navigate to the Android enrollment to make sure we have linked our managed Google Play account to Intune, granting permissions to send both user and device information to Google. Once synchronized, in the Play Store, we jump over to the Mobile Apps section, open the Managed Play Store account. In the Play Store, the admin will search for the TeamViewer host app and make sure it is approved as a managed app along with other add-ons specific to your device to allow the full control feature. Once synchronized, the managed app will appear in the Intune dashboard, and the admin will verify the required app is assigned to a group containing the intended devices for deployment. Now, with our saved config ID from the previous step, the admin will add an app config policy, including the name, description, and managed device as an enrollment type. In this example, I use the configuration designer to add the value type as a string, and for the configuration value, I pasted the config ID retrieved from creating the host package in the MCO. Now, ready for deployment, we'll see in the top bar of the Android device the package downloading and being installed without any end-user interaction. The host installs as a managed app, and opening the package, we can confirm that the automated host assignment has taken place to the TeamViewer account and everything has been made successful. Opening the TeamViewer full client, we select the assigned group, double-click the managed device, and perform remote administration. In the TeamViewer dashboard, we can pop the display to enlarge for better viewing capabilities, return the view back to the dashboard, and view the detailed system information mentioned earlier. With TeamViewer, we are able to kill or uninstall any problematic apps, chat with the user via the chat feature, and transfer any needed files or push any configuration changes. Great. So this concludes my technical overview of TeamViewer's integration into Microsoft Intune. I hope all those participating today were able to find the information useful. Please remember to stay tuned as we are consistently updating our integrations with new and improved features. Once again, thank you for paying attention. If there are any follow-up questions, please post them inside the Q&A section, and I'll do my best to answer them with the remaining time we have left.
Thanks, Sebastian. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. If you'd like to get in contact with us, there is a phone number in the slide here. to reach one of our account managers. You can also contact us using the widget at the bottom of your console. Lastly, you will be prompted to complete a brief on-screen survey at the end of the webinar. Please, if you have a moment to do so, fill out the survey. All feedback helps us tremendously. Thanks again, and be on the lookout for the next webinar of the Integrate to Innovate series.